Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to Business Studies second PUC online classes. In the previous class we have explained about the various operators in the stock exchange, that is speculators in stock exchange. Bull, bear, lame duck, stag, isn't it? We have studied about that, and again we have studied about that is NSCI, Nasdaq, Dow Jones Industrial Average, isn't it? Now let us know some other terms which are used in that is stock exchange. Under that, first one is we'll take up forward delivery, spot delivery first. Spot delivery. What is spot delivery? This is related to stock exchange. Remember, spot delivery means on the spot itself. On the spot itself, delivery. Delivery means handing over, exchanging. Like someone purchases, Mr. A purchases shares of, that is maybe Larsen and Toubro Limited. Mr. A will pay on the date of settlement, and the securities will be delivered to Mr. A by the exchange on the day of settlement, that is T plus 2, isn't it? So that is called when the obligations are settled by two parties on the spot. When the obligations settled by the two parties on the spot, that is Mr. A and that is a stock exchange, both of them exchanged. Mr. A gave money and the exchange delivered the share, that is a broker, isn't it? Intermediary on behalf of the exchange has delivered the shares or securities. Then it is called when the payment obligations are settled on the spot and the delivery is made on the spot, or the delivery is made on the spot against the payment, that is called spot delivery. Clear? Then what is forward delivery? Forward delivery. Forward delivery means that is payment obligations are postponed. Today bought, suppose maybe after 15 days or 1 month, as per the terms of the agreement between the investor and the intermediary or the broker, isn't it? Whatever the terms of agreement that is entered into between the investor and the intermediary, maybe to deliver the securities at a future date and payment will be made after a certain period of time, that is called forward delivery. Delivery will not be made on the spot. When the shares are bought, it will not be delivered immediately. It will be delivered against the payment that will be made by the investor at a future date. That is called forward delivery. Then future and options, the word is there. Very simple. That is it is like booking the quantity. No shares, physical delivery will not take place. That is like I will book today. After 2 months, I want maybe IRCTC shares. I want after 2 months at a rate of, today suppose it is 1345. After 2 months, I have an imagination, or as per my calculation or as per my prediction, the share price may boom up to maybe 1600. In between it may come down also, isn't it? So I will book the shares at rupees 1600 to be sold. I have some shares I will book for delivery maybe after 2 months at rupees 1600. Even if the rate comes down, he must get 1600. If the share price goes up to 2000, then also he will get to 1600, because it is fixed. Like that is advance booking, isn't it? That is called future and option. Option will be given whether the person wants to take the delivery or to make the payment and settle the obligations, isn't it? So that option will be given. That is called future and options. Not very important from your examination point of view because it's not there in your NCERT where nowhere it is explained, whatever it is. But from the practical point of view, we must know all these things. BSE Sensex, I already told you, Bombay Stock Exchange Sensitive Index. That is an index of 30, that is fundamentally strong companies, isn't it? Or blue chip companies. There is one word, blue chip. I told you, I have explained in my previous classes, I still remember. That is, blue chips are the fundamentally strong companies, economically strong companies. They have good amount of reserves. They have less debt obligations, isn't it? And earning per share is very high. And they are earning bumper profits, supernormal profits. Such companies which are having strong economic base and having good market, good reputation in the market, such companies are called blue chips. Because blue chip is the name assigned just because of the blue chips. A coin, it is used in that is a poker game where the blue chips have more value. Like in carom, isn't it? We play carom. Their red coin has more value. We call it as queen, isn't it? Then white color coins, that's brown color coins, isn't it? Then another one is black color. Black color will have a low value. So, and red color will have more value. Like in that poker game, blue chips will have more value. That means fundamentally strong companies having good, that is economic base and good amount of reserves without having any, that is payment obligations, isn't it? Such companies are called, that is blue chips. Blue chips means the companies which mint money, which sells the goods, which earns supernormal profits is called blue chips. So with this, and let me tell you, there are three, that is settings, like levels, three-tier form we call it as, three-tier form in Indian, there is a stock market, capital market. One is regional stock exchanges, then National Stock Exchange NSE, National Stock Exchange NSEI, then over the counter exchange of India, over the counter, somewhere it is mentioned, nothing is explained regarding this, over the counter exchange of India. In box somewhere I found Exchange of India. We call it as OTCEI, OTCEI, over the counter exchange of India, OTCEI. This is nothing but this simply exchanging the securities against the payment or something like that. There will be only one counter and there will not be trading floor. Trading floor in the sense, there will be many computers in the terminal, we call it as terminal, stock exchange terminal. There you will find a number of people, agents sitting and with a number of computers, isn't it? Computer systems. And there will be a large floor for the, that is investors to sit and watch the prices and to do their business. They can enter at, during office hours, well before office hours, that is maybe half an hour before or 15 minutes before, to put the bids. Because at the beginning, the investors, they will put bid. Bid in the sense, suppose L&T shares, yesterday quoted at maybe 945, something like that. Today, I can put bid before the market opens. That is, I want to buy L&T at rupees 900 today, 100 shares I want. Then you can put the bid. If the price reaches 900, immediately your shares will be bought. And after that, if after half an hour the share price increases to 975, you can sell it off immediately. On the spot you can sell and you can book a profit of rupees 75 per share, 75 rupees per share. So trading floor will be there, but in case of over the counter exchange of India, there will be only one counter across which you have to do the business. That is called over the counter exchange of India. Is it clear? There will not be any trading floor, and it is also a ringless, that is a transparent trading system here. And National Stock Exchange, I already explained. Regional stock exchanges, like they are for a particular area, that is a region. Region in the sense southern zone, northern zone, eastern zone, something like that they will divide, like Kolkata, then Chennai, then Mumbai. Already the Bombay Stock Exchange head office is at Mumbai only, isn't it? And New Delhi. So these are the 4 regional offices through which the area wise control will be done by the Securities and Exchange Board of India, and even the Bombay Stock Exchange, isn't it? So this is about, in brief, about the various, that is, terms used in the stock exchanges and the players in the stock exchange. Yes, with this I think we have concluded financial market chapter. Financial market chapter. Now we'll move on to the next chapter. Okay. We take up next chapter. Whether anything is left out in this? No, nothing. Stock exchanges, Securities and Exchange Board of India, money market, capital market, financial market, isn't it? The meaning of these are very important. There are some key terms here. Financial market, you know it very well. Commercial paper, commercial bill, money market, then call money, isn't it? Primary market, SEBI, NSE, there's National Stock Exchange, SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, isn't it? Market, stock exchange, treasury bills, certificate of deposit, mutual fund capital. Mutual fund I already explained, isn't it? Secondary market, where only the existing securities are exchanged, not new issue. Then OTC, here it is given, OTCEI. The full form is not given here. So full form is over the counter exchange of India. They may ask you for 1 mark, maybe expand or OTC, then you should be in a position to answer that question. Clear? Yes. Now let me move on to the new chapter, marketing. Very, very important and very lengthy chapter, and maximum marks questions will be asked from this chapter. But I don't know, because of COVID has affected everyone, so can't say whether it will affect your marketing chapter or not. If it is removed, then I think it's a loss for you, because it is a very easy chapter. But we will cover here. Even if it is not there for the board exam, we don't know. I think it is there is a rumor that they will reduce the syllabus maybe up to 30%. Whether it is true or not, I don't know. There is no genuinity. It is not official message. Unofficially we heard. So even if it is removed also, then also you will get some knowledge about this chapter, and because it will be there in your higher studies. When you take up BCom, then it will come again. Okay. So let us study this chapter. But if it is there, then maximum marks questions will be asked from this chapter. Remember, very, very important chapter. I think I need more than around 15 to 20 hours to teach this chapter. Very lengthy one. Let us move on to marketing. Chapter number 11. Marketing. Friends, when we casually speak marketing, we used to tell most of the times, isn't it? I went for marketing. I went to market. Isn't it? Where did you go? I went for marketing. In that case, when they use marketing word, the meaning of marketing is purchasing different, that is, requirements from different shops. That is marketing for a common man. Before moving on to the very meaning of marketing, we should know the meaning of market. What is market? And why market is required? How it was in olden times, how it is now, and it may change further in future. Friends, we know that now it is a computer age, We purchase goods even at midnight. We can place order at midnight. We can purchase goods at midnight. We can settle the payment through that is a online system just by logging into our system. You can select the goods at midnight, isn't it? Gone are the days. You have to go physically to a shop. You have to make physical cash payment. Then you have to take delivery of the goods. You have to carry the goods with you in a carry bag or any other it is wrapping materials, isn't it? Now it is very easy. Log into the website, place order, make e-payment, and to your home, that is your cell phone, you will get a message when the goods are dispatched. When the goods reaches your destination, again one more message will come. The person who gives delivery, he will give a call. He will search your home, will press the call bell, and material will be handed over to you in your doorstep. This is the order of the day, isn't it? No need to make payment in physical cash, which is actually good nowadays. People who are not supposed to go out, be at home, be safe, isn't it? So, the present day marketing helps such people. So, COVID has taught us number of lessons to us. I will tell you whenever the concept comes, I will tell you how the changes has taken place because of COVID, isn't it? Now, let us move on to what is market first. Then we will go to the meaning of marketing. What is market? You may say market is a place where goods are bought and sold. Of course, for 1 mark, if you write that much is enough. A place where goods are bought and sold. I went to market. Where did you go? I went to market. Market means we assume that it is nearby that the circle, isn't near bus stand. If you go just before bus stand, if we take left when we go towards bus stand, isn't it? There is a place where vegetables, fish and other things are kept together and they sell. Some people sit together, they have their own that is products displayed and they sell at a particular place. That is market. But actually it is not market, friends. For a layman it is a market, of course. A place where goods are bought and sold. And for 1 mark it is enough. But market is not a place. I will say market is not a place. Why it is? You can sell anywhere. I started with that is a digital system. Anyone can buy from any corner of the world. Someone can log in from maybe Norway or Sweden, isn't it? And they can buy some from America. They can buy from India. Is it a particular place? No, it is not a particular place. Goods are bought and sold. Of course, I will sell my car. I don't have a car, but still, if I want to sell my car, there are many that is apps, isn't it? You can log in, you can go for that is selling. Immediately it will be sold. Someone will buy. There is no physical interaction between the buyers and sellers. No connection, physical connection between buyers and sellers. Isn't it? They are totally that is unknown to each other. A person who is sitting in India places order with the Amazon, isn't it? Whether there is any contact between the person who is working in Amazon and the person who is purchasing? No, there is no physical interaction between buyers and sellers. The buyer, Mr. A from India, is placing order from Amazon company, isn't it? There is no physical interaction between the Amazon companies, that is a representative, and the investor, that is a purchaser, buyer, Mr. A. So physical interaction is not necessary to call anything as a market. Physical interaction is not necessary. Our version, when we speak about I am going to market, there is physical interaction. You will go, you will see the products, you will lift the products. Especially Indians are bit more sensitive, isn't it? They, without touching and feeling, they will not buy the product. But an average American, he will get not less than 20 to 25 calls in a day as telemarketing calls, because they like to buy over phone, and because of that they are being cheated. Mostly that is telemarketing executives, they play with the words, they never tell lies, friends. They are not telling lies. The people take the version in a different, that is inference, because they understand it in a different sense. When I say you may get, it does not mean that you will get. If I say you will get, definitely will get. You may means may get, may not get, isn't it? So they have to understand properly, and then they should act accordingly. So my point here is physical interaction of buyers and sellers is not necessary to call anything as market. Then second one is through any mode of communication it can be done. It is a place. It is not a particular place. It is not a particular place. It is the whole of any region. It is the whole of, WHOLE, whole of any region, where buyers and sellers meet each other and make their purchases and sales. Meet each other does not mean that physically meet each other. They meet through different modes of communication, maybe telex, fax, telephone, cell phone, isn't it? Or any other means of communication, or email messages. These are the different modes of communication. So physical interaction of buyers and sellers is not necessary to call anything as market, and it is not a particular place. Market is not a particular place. It is the whole of any region where buyers and sellers meet each other and make their purchases and sales. So purchases and sales of goods and services is necessary to call anything as market. There must be interaction between the buyers and sellers through any mode for that matter. And the rates of the products, price of the products must be similar at a particular point of time. Market is the whole of any region where buyers and sellers meet each other and make their purchases and sales, and the interaction between the buyers need not be personal or physical. It may be through any means of communication, maybe telex, telephone, fax, or email, or any means of communication, isn't it? And it need not be a particular place. So such activities are called market. If it happens, if there are buyers and sellers, if they do their purchase and sales through any means of communication without physical interaction, need not be physical interaction. If it is physical interaction also, it is okay. If it is not, then also it is okay, isn't it? And there will be that is exchange of goods and services for value, and value will be given. So that is called market. So if you say market means that particular place, no, I will not agree with that, because market is not a particular place. It is the whole of any region. Whole of any region. We can take the whole world as a global market. Global market. Anyone can purchase any goods or any service from any corner of the world. There are no restrictions. And single price prevails for a certain commodity. It is the whole of any region in which single price prevails for a certain commodity at certain point of time throughout the region. When you define a particular region, maybe the total of Karnataka or Udupi district or Udupi and Mangalore, that is South Kannada district, or all India, isn't it? Or the entire globe as such. So the region means it does not is restricted to a particular place. The whole of any region means all the places, that is you are taking to consider it as a market. So certain price prevails for a single price prevails for a certain commodity at certain point of time, not all the time, throughout the region. Other than the transportation cost, negligible difference will be there because of the transportation. Other than that, the price of the product remains same. If you buy Hindustan Unilever Limited product from Delhi or Karkala or Mangalore, there will not be much difference, because MRP will be printed by the company and the amount printed should be paid by the customer. Am I correct? Yes, that is what you have to do. So here it is the whole of any region. So understood the meaning of market. Yes. If they ask you for 1 mark, just write market is a place where goods are bought and sold. That's all. Then there is a definition given by Philip Kotler. Marketing takes a market is a place for potential exchanges. Market is a place for potential exchanges. What do you mean by potential exchanges? That is agreed. Today you are buying or selling, or you are agreeing to buy or sell at a future date. Today you have paid the consideration. Money is already paid. Tomorrow you will take the delivery. Fine. That is also a market, isn't it? That is also market. So potential exchange. Market is a place for potential exchanges. That is given by Philip Kotler, a marketing that is expert. Remember, while writing answers in the examination, be careful. If you are very much sure about the authors, then only write the name of the experts, specialists. Otherwise, don't write Coons and O'Donnell in marketing, because the valuer is not such fool. They know which author comes under which concept. Management, fine, you can write Coons and O'Donnell. By mistake, they may award marks because it comes under management. That person is a management expert. F.W. Taylor, if you write in scientific management, it's fine. If you write according to F.W. Taylor, marketing means gone, because they know. F.W. Taylor is management expert and not marketing expert. Remember, friends, be careful about this. Then, now let us move on to the meaning of marketing. Marketing. What is marketing? In our version, for a layman, marketing means going to different shops, purchasing the requirements of the day. Whatever is required, going to 10 shops or purchasing under one roof, departmental store, isn't it? And satisfying their needs. That is called marketing. Where did you go? I went for marketing. I have to go for marketing today. Or sometimes this housewife calls his husband and says, come early today, I have to go for marketing. Isn't it? For her, it is the requirement that is needed for the house, or her own personal requirements are to be purchased from different shops in that locality. But marketing starts before production, friends. Marketing starts before production. Starts before production, and when it ends, even after sale, even after selling the product, marketing continues. So starts before production and ends even after sale. Even after sale. So the meaning of marketing is very, very wide. It starts from identifying the needs of the customers. You might have seen in Cosmo cities, if you go in a busy street, Some person may simply stand and observe by holding a small notebook and that's a pen, isn't it? Or maybe a tab is kept to that is enter the details. Sometimes they may have some questionnaire, small questionnaire in their hand. When they see a person who may help them, they may call you and they will have some gift items like a pen or something which is of useful to the people. And they will be tied and booted, standing somewhere, and they will observe the people. Sometimes they will not speak to the customers at all, people at all. They will simply see and observe the behavior of the people, how people react. Suppose myself is from a Lux company. I will stand somewhere in a corner of the shop and I will simply observe the people who come to purchase soaps, how they behave, which soap they mostly prefer, which one they ask, how many people have asked specifically Lux soap straight away without comparing other soaps, how many of them got compelled to purchase that is Lux soap, isn't it? A question for the person. He will note down all this, that is information, he will put it in computer, the raw data collected will be put in computer, and some ratios, percentage, everything will be derived, and he will come to a conclusion. That is nothing but marketing research. Marketing research. They will come out with some information which will be helpful to them for their further, that is production, distribution, all the chain system. So, identifying the needs of the customers is very, very important, friends. If you manufacture something which is not required by the market at all, do you think it should be manufactured? No. So, first you have to identify what they need. For that, you have to place some, that is a puzzle in their mind. Sometimes you might have heard, you might have seen in that is a television or any other advertisements. They'll give you one problem first, isn't it? Hair fall, someone comes with the tension, isn't it? Then they will say, use this shampoo, your hair will stop, that is falling, and it will start growing further. And new hair may also come, isn't it? But never it happened, but still they will challenge like that. Because they want to create a problem, they want to sow a seed of doubt in your mind, they want to sow a seed of that is puzzle in your mind, so that you will get confused. And they will have the solution for that puzzle. They will come out with the solution then. You will be pleased to hear, and when you go to shop, when you see the same advertisement 5 or 10 times in between the cereals, then you will be compelled to buy it. Your mind will say, whenever you reach the shop, there also you will see one advertisement in front. Products are displayed, and where you can see that product in front of the shelf. Again it attracts you, isn't it? It pinches you and it will call you, buy me, buy me. What will you do? Definitely you will ask for the price. The salesman, they will be expert, isn't it? They will explain everything, mostly positive points only. Negative points, they will say less, because it is, of course, that's a business. They are there to tell and sell, isn't it? They are not there to stand and watch. So my point here is, marketing starts before production, friends. That is, it starts from identifying customer needs. Identifying customer needs is the first point in marketing. Identifying needs of the customers. There is a difference between needs and wants, remember. Need is something which makes you uncomfortable. Let me give best example. You are thirsty. You are thirsty. You have a need to quench your thirst. You want to drink something. Maybe coffee, a cup of tea, maybe juice, isn't it? Or anything, maybe Red Bulls or whatever the name you call, you know it better than me. So, when the need arises, it will be defined culturally. When you are hungry, suppose, a South Indian, he will go to a restaurant to have something because you want to satisfy your hunger. So what you will do? You will go and ask for rice and maybe that is South Indian food, dosa, idli, all these things. If you are a North Indian, what you will do? That person will do? He will also satisfy his hunger, not by eating rice. He will eat chapati, or not chapati, roti, isn't it? Roti is a favorite of North Indians, especially UP, Bihar. If you go there, you will see roti rather than rice. Whenever we eat roti, we feel like we should have a bowl of rice, isn't it? In the same way, whenever you feed them with rice, they will feel like I should have at least 1 or 2 rotis. Without roti, no meal. For us, without rice, no lunch, no meal, isn't it? Like that. So it is culturally defined, friends. It is culturally defined. Because South Indians, they will prefer rice, North Indians, they will prefer roti. The ultimate goal is to satisfy their hunger. They want to satisfy their hunger, so they will go for something. They will enter a restaurant, they will have the required things for them. So there comes the culturally defined things. So here, this comes under wants. Whatever roti or rice you are ordering, it is culturally defined and it comes under wants. That is your want. You want to eat rice. The need is, you are hungry, you want to eat something. Anything for that matter. Correct? You are thirst, you want to quench your thirst, and anything that is fine for you, you will purchase and you will drink. Isn't it? Maybe juice, maybe that is a lassi or anything for that matter. So those are called wants, and the need that arises is called need. Which makes you uncomfortable, that is called need. Remember, that is the difference between need and want. Clear? Yes. So identifying the needs of the customers. First you have to identify what the people need. For which problem we can provide the product. Which problem can be solved by giving what? That problem should be identified first. For that you have to do survey, questionnaire, all these different methods are there, sampling. So through that you have to collect the data, you have to analyze it, and you have to come to a conclusion which product is required for the customers. Whenever a restaurant is open, they will decide in the morning itself, today, this day, isn't it? So which item should be prepared, for which there will be more demand. And on the basis of that, they will prepare different foodstuffs, and they will sell and they will earn profit. So identifying the customer needs is the first point in that is marketing. Then preparing production schedules. Once you have identified that, yes, the people of this area, they need only masala dosa. So you will prepare masala dosa. There is more demand in that area. So you will prepare. You have identified that people like masala dosa, isn't it? Or maybe vada. All these things you will prepare after identifying the needs of that particular area, or the area which you took it as your marketing area. Maybe a district, maybe the entire state, or the whole world as such. So second point here is preparing production schedules. Once you have identified the need, then you will prepare production schedules. What do you mean by production schedules? That is arranging for the that is physical production of goods or service. So we will produce the goods as per the requirement, and depending upon the demand that might arise for that product, and the demand that may come for that product. How much quantity is required? How many people are there? Out of those people, how much percentage of people may come to your restaurant? That is also very important. You have to plan accordingly. Without planning, nothing can be done. Even your examination, without planning, you cannot prepare for the exam. If you prepare for the exam without planning, then everything will be hodgepodge, isn't it? You will get confused in the examination, and chances are there your percentage may come down. In the same way here, you have to prepare production schedules. Production schedules in the sense the raw material that is required, the physical facilities that are required for producing the goods, everything should be arranged. Then what you have to do? Third one is produce the goods. Produce and distribute. For distributing, you should know in which area there is more demand. Send the goods there only. Where there is no demand to where there is more demand. That should be your mantra. So that you can reach the real customers who will buy your product. So here you have to produce and then you have to distribute. For distributing, you have to select the particular channel. There are different channels of distribution. We'll come to these things each one by one later. Maybe direct channel, you will directly sell it to the customers. If there are more number of customers spread altogether, isn't it? Then you have to use indirect channels, maybe 0 level channel, 1 level channel, 2 level channel. The different channels are there. Again, while selecting the channel, you have to make sure that whether your product is durable or perishable. If it is perishable, if you opt for long channel, that is lengthy channel, then your product may deteriorate when it is placed into the hands of the final consumers. So you should make sure that your product will remain intact. It will not lose its quality till it reaches the final consumers. So selection of channel is also important. So you have to distribute the goods. Distributing in the sense sending the goods into the hands of the final consumers, who are the ultimate consumers. Then after sales services. After sales services. Nowadays it is very, very important. Even the manufacturers they are very intelligent, friends. Marketers, the sellers, dealers, they are very intelligent. They will tell you lifetime warranty. They never tell is it your lifetime warranty or product's lifetime warranty. Doesn't it? Product once gets collapsed, its life is over. That is lifetime warranty. Till the product gets damaged, the warranty will be there. Sometimes you will ask for a number of years. How many years warranty will give? The manufacturer may come out with, if it is consumer durables like a refrigerator or washing machines, they may say 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Isn't it? Nowadays, longer warranty term is there. There will be replacement warranty. There will be, that is a repair warranty. There will be entirely, that is a, they will exchange the product altogether, isn't it? The damaged one will be returned and new one will be given to you. Brand new one will be given to you. So that is after sales service. They may send the people, that is a mechanic or the person who is in charge of repairing your product will send it to your home. Or they will give door delivery. These are all after sales services. Once a product moves out of the seller's outlet, then it is called, that is after sales service. Whatever service you are providing after that is called after sales service. So these are the 4 points to explain the meaning of marketing. That is, marketing is identifying the needs of the customers, preparing production schedules, producing and distributing, and providing after sales services. That is, establishing a continuous relationship with the customer, so that the customer may repeatedly come to your shop for his repeated purchases. Clear? So that is marketing. So marketing starts before production and ends even after sale of the product. It will continue even after the sale of the product. So that is called marketing. Marketing is not simply purchasing or collection of goods from different shops. No, it is not marketing. So for even a product there is a life cycle. Like we people have life cycle, womb to tomb, isn't it? In the same way, product also, that is there are 4 stages. We call it as product life cycle. That is market pioneering stage, market, then pioneering, growth, maturity and decline. That is it takes its birth, Identifying the needs, prepare production schedules, isn't it? Growth, demand will increase, start increasing, then it will reach to such an extent that is the maximum amount of sales. Further, the sales will decline. So you should expand this maturity stage. Pioneering, growth, good for the organization. Growth is very good for the organization. Maturity, that is the peak point from where the decline starts. Then decline stage and product will go out of the market. It will vanish from the market. Again, new product you have to introduce, or you have to do some that is a changes, upgradation in the product. Then only you can survive with the same product in the market. That we will discuss later. For the time being, so marketing is the identifying needs, preparing production schedules, producing, distributing, and providing after sale services comes under the meaning of marketing. In notes I will give you the definition and all these things, but here I want to make clear the concept rather than that is a definition. Definition is there in the book, isn't it? You can buy it or read or whatever it is, but you should understand the concept. So with this I will stop here. I will take up that is the next part, important features of marketing in the next class. Take assignment. Expand NSEI, BSE Sensex, BSE Sensex, then Nasdaq, NASDAQ, BSE Sensex, NSEI SEBI. So you have to simply write the full form of these four items. Clear? Submit assignment on time. Thank you all for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.